When we start to awaken, we learn the importance of maintaining a high vibration. But then we put ourselves under constant pressure to maintain that high vibrational state, even when things happen that bring our vibration down. We end up forcing ourselves into a cycle of spiritual bypassing that neglects the necessary darkness of shadow work and ultimately leads to deep-seated exhaustion. Hello again, everyone. I'm Mary Fielder, and this is the Great Light Rising channel, where we talk about all things spiritual, metaphysical, and holistic. Today, we're addressing the very real issue of spiritual burnout, the feeling that you have to be at a high vibration all of the time. Let's talk about it. So here's the scenario. You awaken, you realize, you learn. The Kundalini rises and you suddenly understand. You learn that you are creating your reality and every word you speak is manifesting. This puts you under enormous pressure to only think the right things, to only say the right things, and to react in a positive way to every negative circumstance. When you do that, you're creating an artificial reality, one in which the outer layer may be reflecting positivity, but it's an artificial construct. Because the inner layer, the subconscious layer, the part of you that cannot lie, is actually suppressing the truth of how you really feel. This leads to an internal disconnect and may show itself as a series of physical complaints, such as a headache, a stomachache, random back pain, and so on. You can't sustain a positive attitude all of the time, and trying to do so creates an inattention that eventually rebounds and results in a sort of spiritual burnout. In order to avoid this state of spiritual burnout, we must confront the paradox in which chasing perpetual light actually dims our inner radiance, and we must ultimately confront the realization that authentic healing occurs when we honor the stillness within our energetic depletion. In other words, it's okay to have a day off from maintaining a high vibration, or a week off, even a month, whatever it takes to process what is going on. Hey, before we go any further, please don't forget to leave me a like and let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced spiritual burnout. Your comments and likes really help a lot to reach more people who need to hear this message. Let me give you an example. You're working on your relationship with a difficult family member who depletes you. Most of the time, you're able to avoid them, but sometimes, in fairness to yourself and to them, it's necessary to pay them a visit. The minute you are in their company, the same old record starts to play. It's as though you had never left, never evolved, never moved away, and all the old feelings of low self-worth and irritability come flooding back. It's okay to be here. Process. Stay with the feelings. Honor yourself feeling them. Allow it all to be. When you get the chance to step away from the situation, give yourself time to rise back up to where you were before. You didn't do anything wrong. The lesson isn't over, that's all. Ascending is not a race. There's no deadline. There should be no pressure. It happens as you are ready, and the catalyst of family and of relationships, these are tools to reflect back to you where you are in the journey. The pattern interrupt. Stop forcing a smile in the name of manifestation. This toxic pressure to bypass your own darkness is creating a cycle of energetic depletion that ruins authentic growth. If your spiritual practice feels like a chore, you aren't failing, you're experiencing a burnout that demands you finally embrace your shadow work. I have a friend, her floor flooded, furniture was ruined. It was an accident no one anticipated. Sometimes things just happen out of nowhere. We can look for reasons, we can cast blame, we can name it karma or simple bad luck, but that gets us nothing. She refused to show emotion. She forced a smile to her face and adapted to life without her furniture because she couldn't afford to replace it in the moment. What is wrong with that, you might ask? Is that not how we should deal with misfortune, by not allowing it to bring us down? No matter who caused the accident or how, the situation has to be dealt with, and it is in the dealing that the lesson arrives. Forcing a smile to your face when you feel defeated is inauthentic. Confronting the defeat with authenticity is the challenge. A flood in the house is not pleasant. Losing something that is expensive to replace is never fun. Why not name that? It's not giving up. It's not giving in. It's not manifesting more bad luck. Rather, it's confronting the misfortune, not in victimhood, not with hand-wringing "why me," but naming it for what it is, an unfortunate situation. Bad luck no matter how you look at it. And there's benefit in calling it that. The Paradoxical Reveal. What if I told you that your obsession with positivity is actually blocking your enlightenment? By neglecting the necessary stillness of our low moments, we've turned spirituality into a high-pressure performance. Real healing doesn't happen in the forced light. It begins when you honor the sacred exhaustion of your inner soul. Pretending everything is okay when it isn't is what leads to spiritual burnout. Getting back up when you've been struck down is important, but forcing yourself when you are not ready yet is not good for the spirit. When misfortune happens, pause, take a breath, feel compassion towards yourself. Give it some time. Rebirth occurs in stillness. Rest. Relax. Restore. You'll come back stronger when you're ready. The Provocative Question. When you find yourself at a low ebb, don't mistake that for failure. Ask yourself, are you actually ascending, or are you actually really exhausted? If you are exhausted, the energy you are putting into the collective is also exhaustion. That serves no one. When you pause, you radiate stillness, not exhaustion. Stillness is calming. It is soft and gentle and has value both for you and for the collective. As more and more souls awaken, we've become obsessed with monitoring and maintaining our high vibes. We watch the Schumann resonance, we examine our mood and inner state, we carefully choose our words and stay away from energy vampires and toxic people. We force ourselves to meditate when we are not feeling it. If we keep forcing the light before we've achieved spiritual mastery, we risk burnout for good. We are on the road to mastery, but we are not all masters. We still need our training wheels. If we take off the training wheels before we've mastered ultimate balance, we wobble. We risk suffocating our soul. Soul exhaustion is real. The awakening journey is not a performance. We don't have to live up to anything. We don't have to impress anyone. Being in a high vibrational state 24/7 is not a goal we have to ever achieve. A high vibrational state is an emotional state that we arrive at gradually, through gratitude and positivity, yes, but also through honoring our sacred depletion. Life is a challenge. It was always meant to have ups and downs. It was never meant to be smooth sailing all of the time. That's why we came, to gradually refine the way we respond to the challenges. The challenges will never end because the refinement is unlimited, and our response to them is an ongoing process that will become ever more authentic over time. If you don't stop performing and start honoring your sacred depletion right now, you're not ascending, you're collapsing. We are not here to be perfect. We are here to learn how to be imperfect. The spiritual master. One of the 7 Hermetic principles is the law of polarity, black and white, night and day, up and down, yin and yang. There is polarity in everything. The spiritual master knows that you don't live at one end of the spectrum, but rather you learn to walk the tightrope between light and dark, not avoiding one end, not avoiding the other, but keeping your balance as you navigate now from the dark, now into the light. Another of the Hermetic principles is the law of rhythm. Everything has a natural cycle. Everything flows in and out. The ocean tides flow and ebb, coming close to the shore, then moving out. The seasons turn from winter into spring, then summer and fall. Flowers die and cast their seeds and are reborn again. The wheel of fortune must come down before it can go back up. Learning to surf is a lesson in mastery. First we ride the waves, but then inevitably we spend some time underwater. That's not being inadequate, it's how the sport is played. You will come back up on the next wave, and the next wave comes when it's ready, not when you are. Managing the weight and spotting your next chance is the skill of the sport. The illusion of the perpetual peak. In recent times, vibe checking has become a relentless form of social performance, but this relentless obsession with maintaining a high vibrational state, being in a good mood all of the time, has become a standard of social performance we feel obliged to live up to. But believing you can attract only positive vibes into your life ends up creating a fragmented sense of self with a buried disappointment. We talk about confronting the shadow, healing the inner child, integrating yin and yang. This implies allowing both darkness and light to coexist within us, not just light, only light, and nothing but light. Imagine living in a world where it never went dark, where night never happened, only relentless sunshine, day in and day out, no shade, no shadow, nowhere to escape, nowhere to rest. This is the inner landscape you are forcing upon yourself when you refuse to accept disappointment, when you refuse to allow feelings of sadness to enter into your awareness. It is said that all the ascended masters had many reasons to cry, to let tears fall, tears of compassion, tears of sadness, tears of disappointment. These are not tears of defeat or failure. They are energy releases of pent-up emotions, reflections of your human nature, perspectives of your conscious and subconscious mind. Turning the spiritual corner. When we start to awaken and realize that we are manifesting our own destiny, creating more joy and more happiness in our life, manifesting a job that is rewarding, not just financially, but also emotionally, we sometimes worry that something's going to happen to take it all away again, because that's the reality most of us have lived through. Life is hard. You suffer and cope and achieve a moment of happiness, and then it gets hard again. That's the pattern we have lived through forever. But the energy of these times is different. We are moving into an energy that supports our well-being, supports our happiness, supports our personal growth, and nurtures our soul. Just like the surfer learning to ride the waves in the ocean, there is a natural rhythm to life that requires learning how to ride the waves. Learning to ride the waves is the journey itself, because the waves will not stop coming. The cosmic forces, the planetary movements going retrograde and direct, the phases of the moon, all of these things affect the energies we experience here on Earth. When the planets that rule our horoscope are in motion above us, they create waves of energy that affect our moods, our behavior, and the influences guiding our lives. We cannot individually control the entire cosmos. Instead, we must learn that when a wave crashes overhead, we can surrender to the sensation of being underwater and hold our breath until we bob back up. It's hard to bob up while the wave is still overhead. The wave has to pass, and in the stillness in between the waves, we can re-emerge. Knowing that we will re-emerge, knowing that our happiness still awaits and that it hasn't been robbed from us forever, but we are merely surfing the cosmic waves, that is what helps us achieve a high vibrational state, even when we are in emotional depletion. The low moments are our lessons. Each negative moment, each negative emotion teaches us something about ourselves and about life. Sometimes that lesson is to humble us so that we become more sympathetic to another person's story. Sometimes it teaches us to be more gentle with ourselves. Sometimes, in learning how to get back up, we are able to take that lesson and teach it to others. All of our experiences, good and bad, are valuable to us in one way or another. The anatomy of high vibe exhaustion. To help you understand whether you are actually really maintaining a high vibrational state or whether you are actually suffering from high vibe burnout, think about the following. Do things happen in your life that actually make you angry, but you refuse to acknowledge the anger because you want to be above it? Has anything happened in your life that makes you need to grieve, but you're not allowing yourself to feel sad, depressed, or lonely? Remember that grief does not just arise when we lose a special loved one. It also comes up when we lose something special to us, like breaking a cherished family heirloom, losing a job, or moving away from friends. Do you ever have times when unexpected emergencies drain your finances, like a car breaking down, a clogged drain, a broken furnace, the stuff of life that needs attending but we hate paying for? Have you ever had to cope with losing a job, a friend moving away, a favorite park being converted into an apartment complex? External events beyond our control are perhaps the biggest source of irritation in our lives. But denying our genuine emotions is not maintaining a high vibration. It's suppressing our real feelings. Putting on a brave face might be important at work or in front of your children, but when you can do so safely, it's healthy to let go and take time to feel bad about something that deserves feeling bad about. Bypassing a real emotion ultimately leads to low vibration. Allowing yourself to sit with the emotion will ultimately allow you to let it go, and therefore it will do more to help you return to a higher vibrating frequency than anything else. When we release resistance, feelings pass more quickly. When we dig in our heels and resist our true feelings, we create tension, physical tension and emotional tension. Our nervous system tenses and creates pain in the body. We experience back pain, migraines, weird random tension pains across the neck and shoulders. Holding in emotions that need to be released can also create digestive issues, bowel issues, constipation and malabsorption. We might experience respiratory complaints, coughing, wheezing, asthma. We might have random rashes, eczema, acne, psoriasis. All of these physical symptoms, in turn, eat away at our physical strength and weaken our immune system. Constantly chasing the light when we are not feeling the light actually means that we are running from the darkness, from the place of stillness that soothes the soul and restores the balance. Ripping off the Band-Aid. A friend wanted to leave her husband, who was an abusive alcoholic. At first, she was afraid because she thought she couldn't manage life alone. Even living with an abusive alcoholic was better than living alone, she thought. She put on a brave face, did her best to lay low during his bad moods and drunken outbursts, confronted him when he was sober, and told herself she still loved him. But she wasn't happy. She wasn't living a fulfilled life. But then something happened outside her control, and he left her suddenly. At first, she was scared. She had not had to live alone in a long, long time, but faced with no choice, she had to confront her new reality, and she discovered that life alone was not as hard as she thought it would be. Relieved of the burden of living in an abusive situation, she actually began to thrive. When we allow ourselves to sit in the darkness and be with the darkness instead of running away from the darkness, we often discover that it's not as bad as we thought it would be. Pain is more painful and lasts longer if you're actively resisting it, and if you continue to focus on it. If you can go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, it smarts for a moment, but then the pain stops. But if you tease it off by pulling it back 1 little millimeter at a time, you prolong not just the pain, but also the anticipation of the pain, which is sometimes as bad or worse than the pain itself. The shadow work paradox. Spiritual maturity requires sometimes descending into the basement of the psyche, rather than just living on the roof. If there's a leak in the basement, we need to get down there and clean it up. Likewise, if we live only on the roof, we risk burning out or burning up in the aggressive heat of the summer sun. Ignoring the shadow causes it to leak out as passive aggression, judgment of others, or sudden emotional outbursts. When we hold something down with tight pressure, it is likely to explode on us rather than dissipate slowly. Your inner light isn't something to be manufactured or forced, but something that emerges through integration, through balance, through finding the stillness in the midst of the chaos. In winter, some animals hibernate, others burrow underground. Fish stay at the bottom of the pond to avoid the freeze on the surface. Plants go dormant. It is a necessary time for weathering the coldness of winter, the short days and long nights. But from that place of stillness, of darkness, there is such joy when the shift occurs, when spring rolls around and life begins to emerge again, small green shoots poking through the earth, animals poking their heads out of their underground refuge, looking around, sniffing the air and assessing whether it's safe to emerge. This seasonal adaptation is the true measure of authentic recalibration. Mastery over the cycles of nature requires knowledge and acceptance of those cycles and adaptation to the forces of nature, not opposition, not resistance, not denial. Contrast how you feel when you frantically pursue the manifestation of a different life with the grounded power of simply being present in your current vibration. Which one feels more authentic, more conducive to inner peace? We are not saying that you should not pursue excellence. I'm not saying you shouldn't seek a better life or seek a deeper level of fulfillment. I'm simply saying, learn to move with the flow of the universal tide. Planting seeds is most effective in the spring, growing is most effective in the summer, and hibernating is an effective strategy in the winter. Allow the ebb and flow. Try to avoid swimming upstream. Get comfortable with patiently waiting out the cosmic forces until they realign with your earthly mission, and you'll find a more comfortable path to spiritual ascension, to self-fulfillment, and to inner happiness. So that's all I have for you today. If you have enjoyed this episode and if it has helped you in some way, please consider giving me the thumbs up and sharing the video with someone you think might need to hear this. And let me know in the comments what helped you the most. I usually end these episodes by saying, walk in the light, my friend. But today I will end with, allow yourself to sometimes sit still in the darkness. Until next time, this is Mary Fielder at Great Light Rising. Stay well.